Oh, boy.
We're collecting data.
What's up, boys?
How you doing?
We were observing you from
Oh,
afar.
were ya? You guys are spocking me out.
Yeah. You gonna surf or did you just surf?
No, I was gonna check it out. How's it looking?
It looks really fun.
Yeah, I was watching that guy almost drop into that wave, right? Kind of added insanities.
Yeah. That little zone is like probably the least amount of people and the most amount of waves.
Yeah, no, it looks like it. Boogie boarders. Boogie boogie. It's time to boogie, boys.
The refraction.
The refraction. Big boys in the house, many angles. You gotta get them all.
Dang, he did a huge turn. Let's do it.
Guy's on a joyride.
That was sick.
Whoa!
Camera. Show me that. I need this iPhone footage just doesn't get dropped to the drives. And so when I go to edit, your iPhone footage is on your phone still. How do you feel about that? And I'm like, where is all the footage? It's gone, it's stuck on your iPhone. In the ether. Show them what we're gonna have to do. One man on a mission to do some carves and tubes, and that's gonna be it off the wall. Whoa. 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 Guy's gone savage mode. I think young Luke Swanson, he's driving over, he's gonna check it. He might want to come surf with us. He already surfed this morning. Whoa. Whoa. And oh, that board just went, did you see that?
Yeah.
Bro, that board just went 25 feet in the air. How? We don't know. It's a phenomenon. Luke Swan's gonna come because he wants to learn to lift, but I said we're gonna surf first, and he's already surfed, so I don't know if he's gonna double down on the session. Hopefully he does, because he surfs fucking sick, and you guys would be psyched on watching that. If not, later we're gonna teach him to lift some weights. The younger generation wants to learn to lift weights, get stronger, injury prevention style. So we're gonna go and do that. And that's all I have for you. balance you guys up here. Okay, so while I'm making a hydrator, I'm gonna do a full session breakdown. I don't know if you guys noticed or didn't notice, but it's a big deal for me. I've been working on my turns a lot. This whole year, basically since air camp, I've been working on my turns. And since I hurt my back and I've been surfing a little bit smaller waves, and there just hasn't been swell anyway, but when you come back from an injury, you always want to come back stronger. So I've been picked something to focus on, and that was my turns, right? So we had some swell and that day off the wall, and it allowed for like to get a ton of speed and then work on cutbacks and high speed carves. And we're looking at things like, for me, what I look at when I work on turns, right, is how do I fix my bottom turn to come up into with more speed, and how do I come out of the turn with more speed? Because the coolest looking turns, in my opinion, like the turns John does, is he comes super fast into them, holds the speed, and then he actually gains speed through them and out of them into the next maneuver. So I've been like trying to study him and work on that. And what I found is obviously I'm not near what he can do on the bigger waves with all that speed. I don't mean like bigger waves like on a 10-0, but on like big rock piles or the big Holly Eva, I'm still working on that, but is holding a flowing line through the wave. So you don't cut your bottom turn into parts, and you don't cut your turn into parts. You come from the bottom turn, swoop in, and you hold this crazy line of speed into the down carve and out through of it, instead of like doing this crank wrap at the end, which it's just, there's so many small discrepancies, right? So that crank and like head twist at the end on small waves, it's a good way to end it with power, I feel like. But when there's enough wall, you don't do that crank and you come firing back toward the whitewater and pump out of the turn with speed, and that I think is cool. And so a few things happen. One, it took me focusing on speed, and then oddly enough, I was like getting so excited and so hyped, I would like get ahead of myself and like put my upper body forward. I needed to relax and come back, and so I would get a ton of speed, and then when I went into the turn, all I would think about is try to make it one line. And I did, what happened was super weird, right? Because once I relaxed on the wave a little bit, I felt like I just started surfing way better. And it doesn't matter the level you're at, like you always are trying to surf better, right? So you may be just trying to perfect your pop-up and get your pop-up better. I'm working on my carves right now, and John, every day, John's like, oh, today I'm gonna go out and work on this. Today I'm gonna go out, it's 2 foot, boggy, looks really bad. He just goes out and works on speed production for hours and hours and hours. So it doesn't matter the level you're at, you're always trying to work on something. For me, it's been like getting those carves, trying to make them look smooth and good. And what happened is I had a session where I could just pump, get a ton of speed, relax, and throw power and come out of these carves with power. And I did one of the coolest turns I've ever done. I felt like one of a turn I've always wanted to do. I've seen like Griffin do them really sick, where you like, it starts as a power carve and then the tail blows out. And if you're like relaxed enough, you can just focus on balance. The tail blows out forward, and with control, you just do the whole move. Power carve into a tail blowout, and then come back out of it. And it just happened out of nowhere on the wave, and it surprised me, and I was just so psyched, because I'd pretty much watched guys do those type of turns and just thought it was such a techie cool turn for so long, and then finally got one. And then throughout the session got to work on, just in the end I got this crazy fast down carve and I came out of it with speed, and so that was another small accomplishment. And then while in the water, Doug Silver, our good friend, was out there. He was just throwing out little tips. And he's a big advocate of the low arm. So like you back arm goes low on the carve and this arm up. Whereas like you'll see on a lot of my carves, my back arm stays way up. And I do think it's like somewhat style preference. Like I don't know, sometimes I think the high arm can be good for a carve because it makes it look and makes you throw power in a different way. Whereas I feel like that low arm and that look, it starts to just look repetitive when it's trained. You see a lot of the young kids coming up and they all look like they have the same identical carve.
And while I always respect small movements and learning and changing, I did do one where I came to the middle ground with my arm and it felt really good. I don't like that look of everyone starting to look the same. And he was like, do it, try it. It's gonna like fix your carve. And so I did try it on a few, and I felt like it was good for a certain carve when it's not that steep, and to make the wrap look nice. But when there's steep, big wall of power, I found it didn't work for me as well. But still, just experimenting with that kind of stuff. You guys just have to figure out what works for you on your own and what makes you go faster into turns and faster out of turns and look good doing it. I'm still working on a ton of that stuff, but such a fun session. I feel like there's a couple little breakthroughs on the carves. And yeah, hope you enjoyed another episode and post-session breakdown. So that's all I got for you guys. We're gonna have a few more days as well, so hopefully we will have more days of surfing and fine-tuning and going faster and unlocking new tricks.